2019 is drawn to a close, so join me, Big Al, in the Whisky Straight Den, and stay tuned for my final review of the year. Hey whisky lovers, thanks for joining me for review 39, where I'm going to be sticking with the rye theme and taking a look here at the Pikesville Straight Rye. Pikesville wasn't always based in Kentucky. It was actually a Maryland distillery which was established in the 1890s, and everything was going well, and then obviously it was hit very hard by prohibition and it had to close down. But the brand did re-emerge after that and was successful for a while, and actually was the last distillery standing in the area. Now, it's now produced in Kentucky by Heaven Hill from extra aged barrels at their Blenheim distillery. So before we get properly right into the nosing and tasting side of the review, let's take a quick look at the bottle here, because Heaven Hill are quite transparent in their labelling and telling us a lot about the whisky before we actually go on to the other bit. So let's take a look at that and see what it says. Right, well, we know it's a straight rye whisky, which is good news. It's 110 proof, which is 55% alcohol by volume, which is essentially cask strength. So we've got a nice proof point there, we've got the straight rye, and we know also from looking at the bottle here in the rear that it's aged at least 6 years. Now, it doesn't say in the bottle, but you can get from the website, the mash bill from this product is actually 51% rye, 35% corn, and 14% unmalted barley. So, knowing that, well, let's get right on into it and see what the product is actually like with the nosing and tasting. Slàinte. Right off on the arrival, there's a hint of chocolate there, but on the back of that, there's orange spice. And now, it's quite intense at first, but it starts to mellow very quickly, and as it mellows, there's a nice fruity, floral sweetness comes in there too, and it even brings with it the introduction of a honey note as well, and it's like a sweet, light honey. Now, interestingly, that despite that sort of contrast in flavours from the savoury side to the sweet side, it kind of goes from one to the other, but it doesn't do it in a harsh way. It does it like in a gentle flowing motion, like it sways from one to the other, and then right in the middle it hits that sweet spot where it all combines together, and it really, really works well, and it's very complimentary indeed. I'm also getting a touch of cola there, which is not something to get very often, but I have got it like once before, and it's not fizzy cola or anything like that. It's like a natural flat cola, one that you've let go flat, and that's quite interesting. All in all, it's really an interesting nose. So let's get right on with the best bit. Yes, the tasting. Slàinte. Right off, it's smooth, creamy milk chocolate, and it's immediately velvety on the tongue as well. And then here comes that burst of orange spice, but it's more on the edges of the palate, and it's bringing with it just a lovely, lovely wave of rich, flavourful vanilla. My glasses are steaming up. But anyway, it must be the heat. But let's go for a second sip and see how it fares in that. Ooh. Now here comes a bit more extra spiciness with that orange spiciness. And it's quite intense, which is a bit strange because it's normally the first sip where you get the most intensity, and then as that sort of dies down and you take a second sip, your palate's more used to it and you don't feel the intensity as just as much. But this is definitely different and a wee bit surprising, but There we go. And now as it sort of lingers over the palate, that initial smooth velvetiness becomes a bit more drying, and it leaves flavours of bacon spices, a bit of marzipan there as well. Again, some chocolate, but not as milky. It's more like the chocolate that you would use for cooking and baking rather than a big bar of stuff you want to eat. So let's go again and see how it goes in the third sip. Now, there's still quite a spicy kick there, and it leaves a nice simmering heat over the palate. But it's that simmering heat which locks in all those flavours I've already mentioned. And then there's just like a sudden arrival of dill and a bit of fruitiness there as well, and then they're gone. It's just like a fleeting glance, just come in to say hello, and then they're away. But all those other flavours, they're still there. It's still lingering. You know, really is like a fantastic, flavourful rye. It lingers in the mouth. The flavours are full, they're rich, they're vibrant. The finish is very long. It retains those flavours. It retains the spiciness, which become baking spices, and then right on the end, as it fades towards the rear of the palate, it retains a nice warming clove element, and it's just so good, this stuff. So to sum up, overall this really is a fantastic rye. It's got an abundance of rich, vibrant, full-on flavours and aromas, and it really is one I can't recommend highly enough. It's beautiful stuff, so I highly recommend, if you haven't tried it yet, if you get the chance to have a sip of it somewhere or buy a bottle, take it. You shouldn't be disappointed. Now, on another note, now that I've finally sort of got me set up the way I want it to be, maybe still a few wee tweaks required, but it's all a learning process with new equipment and stuff. I'm thinking of introducing in the new year a scoring system, but I'm still undecided. Sometimes I think yes, sometimes I think no, but if I do, obviously it will be based purely on my thoughts. It'll be subjective, but it'll be purely based on the stuff in the bottle. It'll not take into account price or anything like that. Obviously I'll add in those details, and then the viewer can decide for themselves if, based on my thoughts and recommendations, if it's something you're willing to fork out on, you know, because prices of products do vary quite a lot, and people's palates vary quite a lot as well. Now, on that note, I believe this Pikesville Rye retails at about $50 sort of range in the States, which is quite a good price. Over here in the UK, this is where it becomes a bit tricky. I've seen this at this time of year ranging from the low 70 quid mark right up to the low 90s, and you know, you really have to want it badly to fork out 90 quid for it, let me tell you. Personally, I wouldn't, as much as I love the stuff. I just don't think it's worth that much. But I was doing a bit of Black Friday dealing and stuff, whatnot online, and I got this actually for 61 quid, which is not too bad. It's the cheapest I've seen it over here. So if you can get it towards that lower price point and you want to give it a try, yep, by all means do so, but shop around for the best price, and there's still plenty of offers online out there. So thanks again for all your support during 2019. It was a difficult year personally, and that's why I had such a long break in between from the summer right up until December. But it's been good to get back in the groove. It's been good to get back interacting with you guys, doing more reviews, tasting more whiskey, and hopefully for the new year it's onwards and upwards. Many more whiskies to come, more reviews and more interaction with you great bunch of people out there. So please comment down below on your thoughts on Pikesville Rye. Let me know your thoughts on whether you'd like to see me introducing a scoring system or not. So all that remains now, folks, is to wish each and every one of you a happy and a wonderful new year. I hope your dreams come true. It's a prosperous year for you, and a year where we can all keep in touch, keep supporting each other, and enjoying quality whisky. As the great man Mark Twain once famously said, and I'm sure you know the quote, "Too much of anything is bad, but too much good whisky is barely enough." And boy did he nail it on that front. So, you know how it goes. Until the next time, and indeed next year, stay safe and drink your whisky the way you like it. Sláinte. And, oh, listen, that twat way past with this big fucking exhaust. Twat.